When she finally reaches out after a period of silence, the most important thing you can do is remain calm and confident. This is where many men make the mistake of overreacting, either by showing too much excitement or by coming across as bitter because of the time she went quiet. Both extremes push her away. What truly draws her back in is your ability to respond as if you were never sitting around waiting. A calm centered energy communicates that your life has been full, that you've been moving forward, and that while you're glad to hear from her, you didn't need her message to feel complete. Confidence in this situation doesn't mean being arrogant or dismissive. It means being grounded. It's answering her call or message with ease, without tension, without that nervous energy that suggests you've been obsessing over her absence. A confident man knows his worth, and because of that, he doesn't overvalue or undervalue her decision to reach out. He simply acknowledges it as a natural step that was bound to happen if she was truly thinking about him during the silence. That calm tone makes her feel safe because she realizes you aren't going to punish her for the gap in communication, nor are you going to smother her with neediness. Staying calm also keeps you from interrogating her. The urge might come up. You may want to ask, why didn't you call sooner, or what happened? But those kinds of questions put her on the defensive and kill the mood instantly. Instead, when you stay composed, you signal that you trusted the process all along. You trusted that if her feelings were real, she'd circle back, and now here she is. That mindset not only shows confidence, it also shows emotional maturity. Think of it this way. When you react with calmness, you put her at ease. She doesn't feel judged, pressured, or forced to explain herself. Instead, she feels like she's coming back to a man who's secure in himself, who didn't lose his balance in her absence. That makes reconnecting with you even more attractive because it proves that her silence didn't shake you. And for a woman, there's nothing more reassuring than realizing that a man's sense of value doesn't depend on her constant attention. When she reaches out, your calm response also reinforced the idea that you've been living your life fully. You weren't just sitting around waiting for her to show up. Maybe you've been working on your goals, hitting the gym, building your business, or spending time with friends. That energy comes through, even in your tone of voice or the way you text. She can sense whether you've been focused on your purpose or drowning in neediness. And when she feels that you've been steady and self-assured, it draws her in even more. So when the message finally arrives or the call comes through, don't let nerves, anger, or excitement take over. Breathe, smile, and respond with ease. Show her through your composure that you're a man who values himself and isn't thrown off by a little silence. Because if you stay calm and confident, she'll feel like she's reconnecting with the man she couldn't stop thinking about. When she finally breaks the silence and reaches out, your instinct might be to overanalyze her words, her tone, or the timing of her message. You might find yourself thinking, why now? What does she mean by this? Does this text mean she wants me back? That overthinking is exactly what can ruin your response. The truth is, you don't need to dissect her intentions in the moment. What matters is how you handle yourself when she makes contact. The best way to do that is by keeping your response simple, natural, and free of pressure. Acknowledging her message without turning it into an interrogation shows that you're grounded and not desperate for answers. If she says, hey, how have you been? The confident move isn't to grill her about why she disappeared. It's to respond in a light, relaxed way, as if the silence wasn't a big deal. Something like, I've been great. How about you? Keeps the energy smooth and easy. That tone tells her you're not holding resentment, and more importantly, that you're not putting her on the spot. It makes her feel safe to continue opening up. If you overanalyze her reaching out, you risk pushing her away by reading too much into something that may be very simple. Maybe she missed you. Maybe she was thinking about you for weeks and finally found the courage to reconnect. Maybe she just wanted to test the waters to see how you'd respond. Regardless of her reasons, Your best move is to focus on the present moment instead of chasing explanations. Calm acknowledgement of her effort gives her the space to invest more, to explain herself naturally if she chooses, and to reveal her intentions without pressure. The beauty of keeping things simple is that it puts the power back in your frame. You're not dancing around her words trying to decode hidden meanings. You're showing that you're steady enough to let things unfold naturally. When you don't overanalyze, you avoid coming across as needy or insecure. Instead, you communicate trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the connection, and trust in the idea that if she's reaching out, there's already interest on her side. Acknowledgement also communicates value. By responding without overcompensating, you show that her reaching out is welcome, but it doesn't shake your world. You're happy to hear from her, but you weren't depending on it. That balance of warmth and composure creates the right environment for attraction to grow. It tells her that you're not waiting for her approval, but you're open to seeing where things go. So when she finally calls, texts, or shows up after silence, remember this. You don't have to solve the mystery of her intentions in the first 5 minutes. Let her show you with her actions. Let her words and consistency over time tell the real story. For now, all you need to do is acknowledge, keep it simple, and let the connection flow naturally. Because when you stop overanalyzing and just respond with ease, you allow her to invest more, and that's when the real answers reveal themselves. When she reaches out after a period of silence, one of the smartest things you can do is mirror her effort. This doesn't mean playing games or pretending to be less interested than you are. It means responding with the same level of energy she brings to you. If she sends a short, casual message, then reply with something equally light. If she calls you and her tone is warm and excited, match that warmth in your response. The balance keeps the interaction natural and prevents you from coming across as either too cold or too eager. Mirroring her effort is important because it creates harmony in the conversation. When someone feels like you're meeting them where they are, they feel comfortable. If you overdo it, sending long emotional messages in response to a simple, hey, it throws off that balance. It can make her feel pressured or overwhelmed, especially if she's just testing the waters to see how you'll respond. On the other hand, if you underdo it, responding with one-word answers when she's clearly trying to re-engage, you risk signaling disinterest and shutting down the momentum. This balance also communicates confidence. By matching her tone and energy, you're showing that you're not trying to force the interaction or rush it into something it's not ready to be. You're giving her the space to reveal how invested she is while still keeping the door open for deeper connection. It's like a dance. You're not pulling her too fast and you're not stepping away. You're moving in rhythm with her. Another reason mirroring effort works so well is because it allows her to lead with investment. If she's thinking about you and wants to rebuild the connection, she'll gradually increase her energy, her openness, and her availability. By matching her step for step, you're encouraging her to take that initiative without smothering her. You're showing her that you're paying attention, that you value her effort, but that you're also not willing to carry the entire weight of the interaction on your own. This dynamic keeps things exciting. Instead of trying to push her into closeness, you're letting it develop organically. And because women are highly attuned to how a man makes them feel, your ability to mirror her effort will make her feel understood and respected. She'll notice that you're not pushing too hard, yet you're not distant. You're meeting her exactly where she is, which makes her want to lean in more. So when the silence ends and she decides to reach out, resist the urge to overcompensate. Don't flood her with attention just because you're relieved she finally made contact. And don't punish her by being distant when you actually want her closer. Instead, keep the rhythm by giving her what she gives you. Because when you mirror her effort, you create balance. And balance is what allows attraction to grow stronger. When she finally breaks the silence and reaches out, it can be tempting to make the conversation all about the past. You might feel the urge to ask why she pulled away, what she was doing during that time, or whether she missed you. But that approach usually backfires because it puts unnecessary pressure on her and brings up emotions she may not be ready to share. Instead, the smarter move is to steer the conversation into something light and enjoyable, keeping the focus on positive energy rather than digging into old wounds. By keeping things light, you set the tone for how she feels when she interacts with you. If every exchange feels heavy or like an interrogation, she'll associate connecting with you as stressful. But if she walks away smiling, laughing, or feeling understood, she'll naturally want to reach out more often. That's the essence of attraction. It grows when interactions are fun, relaxed, and emotionally rewarding. Think of it like this: her reaching out is already a sign of interest. She wouldn't be contacting you if she hadn't been thinking about you or wasn't curious to reconnect. So instead of making her justify herself or explain her absence, treat the moment as an opportunity to rebuild positive rapport. Talk about things that inspire a good vibe, playful banter, shared memories, or even casual updates about what you've been up to. The goal isn't to impress her with details, but to create a comfortable space where she feels good engaging with you again. This approach also demonstrates emotional control. A man who can stay calm, playful, and lighthearted in moments where others would be tense shows strength. It tells her you're not resentful, you're not needy, and you're not holding on to negativity. That's magnetic energy because it proves that your happiness doesn't depend on her validation. It shows that you have a life filled with positivity and she gets to be a part of it if she chooses. Another benefit of keeping it light is that it allows her to invest more freely. If she feels comfortable, she's more likely to open up naturally about why she pulled away or what she's been feeling. But notice the difference. It's her choice to share, not something you forced out of her. When a woman chooses to reveal herself, it creates a much deeper bond than if you had pressured her into an explanation. So when that message pops up on your phone or when she calls after a long stretch of silence, remind yourself not to drag the conversation into old drama. Instead, meet her with warmth and lightness. Be the man who makes her smile and forget about everything else for a little while. Because when the connection feels easy and enjoyable, she'll want to keep reaching out, and that's exactly where you want things to go. When she reaches out after silence, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is becoming too available too quickly. It's natural to feel excited when her name shows up on your phone after you've been wondering if she'd ever reach out again. That excitement can drive you to drop everything just to reply instantly or rearrange your plans so you can meet her right away. But what that communicates is that your entire life revolves around her, and that's not attractive. The truth is, women are far more drawn to a man who has a full, purposeful life than to a man who is just waiting around for her attention. Responding in a balanced way means showing genuine interest without abandoning your priorities. If she sends a text while you're busy, it's okay to reply when you're free instead of immediately. If she suggests hanging out but you already have plans, don't cancel them just to be available. Simply offer another time that works for you. This demonstrates that while you're glad to hear from her, you're also a man with structure, commitments, and standards. That's the kind of energy that earns respect and attraction. Being balanced also creates a sense of mystery and value. If you're always there at the snap of her fingers, she doesn't get the chance to wonder about you or invest more effort. On the other hand, if she sees that you're happy to hear from her, but not desperate, she feels like she needs to earn more of your time and energy. That dynamic sparks her curiosity and keeps her leaning in because she can feel that your life doesn't depend on her presence, it's enhanced by it. Another layer of balance is how much emotional energy you put into the interaction. If she reaches out casually, don't flutter with paragraphs of how much you missed her or how long you've been waiting. That creates pressure and shifts the dynamic too heavily. Instead, match her tone and then gradually build on it. If she invests more, let her actions guide how much effort you put in. This keeps things natural and avoids the trap of overcommitting while she's still testing the waters. This approach doesn't mean playing hard to get or being cold. It's not about ignoring her or acting disinterested. It's about pacing yourself. Think of it as a dance where she takes a step forward and you meet her with the same step, but you don't leap 10 steps ahead. You're showing her that you appreciate her effort without making her feel like you've been starving for it. That balance gives her room to show you where she really stands instead of forcing the connection into something she's not ready for. So when she reaches out after being silent, enjoy the moment, but stay grounded. Let her know you're glad to hear from her while still honoring your own life and priorities. Because when you respond with balance, you create attraction that lasts instead of chasing it away with neediness. When she finally reaches out after a stretch of silence, it's natural to feel a flood of emotions, relief, excitement, maybe even a little nervousness. But before you let those feelings take control, remind yourself that this is just the beginning of a new chapter, not the final conclusion. What really matters now is consistency. The way she follows up, the effort she puts in, and the energy she invests after this first contact will tell you everything you need to know about her intentions. That's why patience is so important. You're not judging her by one message or one call. You're watching the pattern she creates over time. Anyone can send a casual, "Hey, how are you?" out of boredom, curiosity, or even guilt. But if her actions stop there, it means very little. Real interest shows up in consistency. Does she continue to reach out? Does she try to make plans with you? Does she follow through on what she says? These are the signals that separate someone who's genuinely trying to reconnect from someone who just wants a moment of attention. And the only way to see that clearly is by letting things unfold naturally without rushing or forcing it. Patience also keeps you grounded in your own frame. If you get too caught up in the excitement of hearing from her again, you might push for answers or try to accelerate the connection before it's ready. That pressure can push her away just as quickly as she returns. But if you stay calm, enjoy the moment, and give her the space to show you her consistency, you'll find yourself in a much stronger position. You're not chasing her. You're simply observing her investment and responding accordingly. This approach also allows you to protect your own emotional energy. By focusing on her actions instead of her words, you avoid the trap of being swayed by empty promises. Many people say the right things in the heat of the moment, but their true intentions are revealed in how they consistently behave. Patience gives you the clarity to separate words from actions, which ultimately protects you from disappointment and guides you toward genuine connection. And when you do see that consistency, that's when you can begin to deepen the connection. That's when you can trust that she's not just reaching out because of a fleeting emotion, but because she truly values you and wants to rebuild something meaningful. By waiting and watching, you give her the chance to prove herself through effort, not just talk. So when that first text or call comes in, enjoy it, but don't make it bigger than it is. Let her show you her true intentions through time and action. Because when you practice patience and look for consistency, you'll know without a doubt whether her reaching out is just a moment or the start of something real.